Hello, everybody, and welcome to the show this week. And as always, I'm your host, David Burrows, and appreciate you being here wherever you're watching from. I've got lots to talk about here today. 3 great guests. Of course, we get some great guests here every week, stuff that's happening in our community and beyond the borders of our community as well. We're broadcasting live in about 10 different places. So wherever you're watching from, I would invite you to come on over here to the show page where we're the broadcast has begun originally. And if I can multitask it all here, I will show you where you can do that. Come on over to the show, Sarnia, on Facebook. And that's where I'll be able to see all your comments live. So wherever you're watching from, fantastic. But if you're going to be sharing some comments here with us today, I need you to come over and do that from the show Sarnia page. There it is up on your screen right now. So as always, got some things to talk about before we get to our guests. I will tell you who our guests are going to be here today, though. Nadia Butchey from the Lambton Public Health Unit is going to be here. No World Tobacco Day is coming up on May the 31st, so we're going to be talking about that. No smoking. Are you still a smoker? Come on now. You have it in you to quit smoking. I will be celebrating 3 years of no smoking coming up this July 24th. So if I can do it, trust me, anybody can do that. So Nadia will be here talking to us about that. Paul Kearney will be here from Harmony for Youth, reaching out to the community, looking for some volunteers. And maybe you don't think you have the skills to get involved. I bet you do. They're looking for anybody to come out. They need the manpower, just like any other volunteer organization. So Paul Kearney will be talking about that with us as well. And then we're going to have some more great guests here as well. So make sure you stay here with us. Whitney Simpson is going to be one of the other guests here talking about the Stephanie Shaw Memorial Ball Tournament. I was going to go over to my screen here. One of the great things about live is I can do whatever I want, right? So as you can see, we are here every Monday, 3:30 in the afternoon. It's live, and if you don't catch it live, that's okay. You can come back and watch the replay. All our social media, we are everywhere. You can see we're on Twitter, Facebook. There's our website, tvsn.ca. Twitch, if you don't know what twitch.tv is, go check that out. And, of course, Instagram. And I'm not going to lie, once in a while on Snapchat. I'm still having trouble with Snapchat, but maybe someday I'll be more fond of it. Pacers live lacrosse home game coverage. That's right. We were there this past Saturday as the lacrosse Pacers at the Point Edward Memorial Arena, struggling this year. They're really having a hard time getting through scoring, I guess, is probably what's most important when you're talking about any game, right? But they struggled to get through it this time again. Not as bad as it was. 10-7 was the final score as they took on the Niagara Thunderhawks. And really grateful to my friend, 10-year-old Liam Henderson. He was my co-commentator. This young child is amazing. It's what he wants to be when he grows up, is a full-time sports commentator. He's a big hockey fan, big Leaf fan. I think he said he was rooting for the Washington Capitals. He says they're going to win. So anyway, Liam Henderson, thanks for being my co-commentator. Again, he helped me out last year, and I want to say thanks to his mom and dad, Trish and Randy, for bringing him down to the Point Edward Memorial Arena for lacrosse Pacers action. We'll be back there on June the 9th. It's a 7 o'clock game, and we'll be back there as the also taking on the London Blue Devils. They have not won a game at all. So maybe that's hope for the Pacers playing. Anyway, it's been a rough year for the Pacers, but it's still great action lacrosse. Come on down there and you can buy some tickets. We'll have some tickets to give away here as well. I'm just going to really quickly refresh my screen. So stay with me, folks. I'm going to be right back. All right, that might be better. And I just got some other things I want to show you here, and it wasn't showing up for me, so I was having trouble with that, but still not cooperating. Oh, there we go. That's the fellow right there, young Liam Henderson. I wanted to make sure that he got credit for being there. So Liam Henderson, thanks again for joining me for the Lacrosse Pacers. And as I said, we will be back there on June the 9th. It's Saturday, June the 9th. Game time starts 7 o'clock in the evening. You'll be able to watch it live. We're exclusively the only broadcaster down there on the Video Show Network bringing you live game coverage of that. But it's nothing like being there in person, so come on and check that out. May 30th, yeah, that's coming. Can you believe? I say May 30th, but like June is like just about here. We're halfway through the year almost. I don't know how that's happening. It's just flying by. But, we had our friends from HT Glee were here joining us a couple of weeks ago, and that is starting this Wednesday, May the 30th. And it's just a lot of singing and dancing and going to be fantastic performance. We interviewed some of the performers here a couple of weeks ago. Carrie Beauchamp and all of her team. She always wants to make sure that she doesn't take all the credit. Jamie Davies, Olivia Gogas, Hannah Fader, Katie Kruskoff, JC Cowan, and Stephanie Smith, all a big part of the team with Carrie Beauchamp for HT Glee. Again, starting at the Imperial Theatre Wednesday, May the 30th. You can go online to imperialtheatre.net to get your tickets for that. This is going to be fun and exciting. I've been mentioning it for a few weeks because I don't want you to forget, and I want you to know its importance in our community. Crime Stoppers, of course, playing a big part in our community here. And what you may not realize is that Crime Stoppers is not funded by the government or anything like that. It's not your tax dollars. They are a 100% nonprofit organization, just like many of the organizations here in our community. And so therefore, they need your support, financial support, to make things right in our community or assist. So it's a second annual virtual jail and bail. And there you can see a picture of Judge Brigham Justice. Yeah, original. It's going to be a lot of fun. They're going to be bringing some jailbirds in from Sarnia, Lambton, and I will be there commentating, having some fun as well, and we'll be broadcasting that live from the Sarnia Police Station. We'll be there. That happens from noon till 3 o'clock in the afternoon, so make sure you check in for that. And if you want to make any donations, there'll be a link to allow you to do that as well. So again, second annual virtual jail and bail coming up this Wednesday, noon to 3. Funny things always transpire during the court cases, or the kangaroo court, if you will, of the virtual jail and bail. So it's definitely going to be entertaining. Also, something new this year for Tourism Sarnia, Lambton, and Ontario's Blue Coast. It is Tourism Day on June the 9th. And coming up on June the 9th, you'll be able to do a self-driving tour. There are 19 sites in all for you to drive around and enjoy. It's going to be, it'll be a nice day for a drive, hopefully, but there is so much going on, not just in our community. This is all outside of our community as well, Sarnia, Lambton, and many great things to check out. So if you want to find out more about that, just give them a call down at Tourism Sarnia, Lambton here. Again, to find out more about the self-driving 19 sites, yes, again, for you to tour around. We always say, let's go for a nice drive today, dear. Well, plan to do it on June the 9th and enjoy and appreciate all the great things there is around us here in our community. Thanks to Vicki Prale for sharing that with us. Parents reaching out. Boy, I'll tell you, I wish I'd had this when I first became a dad. Well, got some struggles and troubles in our lives, and youth in our community often struggle. But mom and dad, we struggle too, don't we, on how to handle these things with our children and the youth in our community, and how do we handle ourselves, and are we handling things properly? I think we've always said, I wish someone would write a book. Well, this is one of the gentlemen that has. Dr. Michael Unger is going to be in our community coming up on June the 14th. He'll be at Great Lakes Secondary School on June the 14th at 6 o'clock in the evening, and you need to register to do that. We'll post all these links to all these things that are happening after the show. It'll be on our Facebook page. But you can see the first 75 people that register for this Parents Reaching Out event. It's called I Still Love You. We're going to be broadcasting it live, but better if you come down and register to be down there. The first 75 people get a free copy of Dr. Michael Unger's book. So Parents Reaching Out, again, June the 14th, 6 p.m. in the evening at Great Lakes Secondary. You come and see it live. Or if you can't make it down, you'll be able to watch it live on the Video Show Network. Our friend Jay Peckham here was last week. I think it was last week. He was here talking about the St. Francis Advocates golf tournament, the annual golf tournament, their 12th annual golf tournament, and St. Francis Advocates. Check them out on their Facebook page. Their golf tournament coming up on June the 22nd, and I know they're still looking for some teams to play and support them in that. And that's going to be played out at Witter Station again on June the 22nd. Jay Peckham, you never know when he might show up too, so keep an eye out for that guy. All right. Well, that's it for me right now. I was looking for my first guest, but I don't see her yet. So fortunately, Mr. Paul Kearney is in the lobby. So I'm thinking, and I just want to double check to make sure I didn't miss anybody. Stay with me, Paul. Yeah, okay. Paul, I'm going to come to you right now because my other guest doesn't seem to be quite ready yet. So if you're ready, just give me the thumbs up there, buddy. Yeah, he says, bring it on, David.
G'day, David. How are you?
Hey, thanks so much for seeing it. You're a perfect example of why it's good to be early.
There we go. Hey, we can get on. We can get everything done, and I can take extra time if need be.
Yeah, there you go. Absolutely. Well, I always tell my kids, if you can't be on time, at least be early, right? So
that's right.
You're an example for that. Paul, of course, I know who you are. I've dealt with you many times. We've talked many times over the years. But for those who don't know, you're part of Harmony for Youth. But explain to everybody what your role is there and what Harmony for Youth is all about.
Well, my role there is chief cook and bottle washer. I've over the years, I've done most everything. I've been with Harmony now since 1997. When I did the original paperwork in 1998, we were recognized as a charity. So I've been there since then, and in every role from president to literally instructing youth how to cook in a kitchen, so bottle washing. I've done keyboarding on piano for youth. I've taught painting, just a number of different things. And I've had so much fun over the years working with the youth of Sarnia Lambton.
Yeah, well, wow. You say chief cook and bottle washer. You're not kidding there. You've what was it that first attracted you to becoming a part of Harmony for Youth?
A lady I knew by the name of Joanne Clout-Clabell was the one who actually started Harmony. God bless her. She's not with us anymore.
Yeah.
But when originally she came to me and said, how would one create a charity? And being dumb, I went on the internet and I contacted the government. And about 7 months later, we actually became a charity. I had a child at the time who was in grade 9. My son, at the time, he was up to the top of my ear, and everybody figured in grade 9 that he must be 18, 19 years old and should act like an adult. So he was having a difficult time himself.
Right.
He got involved first with the band, which was going at the time. He played baritone sax. It fit him. He was so large a youth. And then he couldn't carry a tune in a front end loader, but Joanne dragged him into the choir, got his self-confidence up, which is what we're really after, is to raise the child's self-worth and self-esteem. And eventually he actually took the lead in a musical. So seeing the difference it made in my own son, I've been with Harmony ever since, as a teacher, as a mentor, doing anything I can to help the organization.
Yeah, and I think, you know, it's an organization that has helped so many. But I mean, people grow up, right? I mean, our youth grows up and they move on and they get married and they have children or whatever, their careers, all that stuff. Do you get many coming back later to say, wow, thank you so much?
We get a number of thank yous. I still have people who run up and give me a hug, which is wonderful in this society that I can accept one from someone. My own son's moved out to Vancouver and doing quite well, but we've actually had a child come up and through the system as well, which is fabulous. We have 2 board members at the moment who are past students, which we've had another one as well. So we do have some that are coming back, which is absolutely wonderful. What more could I ask?
Yeah, well, I guess it's nice to see the return of the support that you've put out there, and that the group Harmony for Youth has put. I've known them for quite some time, and I know many people who have participated, and many youth that I've seen grow up over the years coming out of Harmony for Youth as well. So that's fantastic. But now, Harmony is a nonprofit organization, so. Like any others, as you heard me talking earlier about Crime Stoppers, even, like we all need money, right?
We always need money, and that is one of the things that we do constantly. We put on fundraisers, we'll do barbecues, we perform wherever we can. Our choir will come out and perform for a donation, which is really wonderful for the number of people that we do that. I know, I believe we're performing at Kids Fest right shortly here. Okay. We do Kid Fest, Hobby Fest, Greek Fest. We do a number of the festivals throughout Sarnia. But if there's an organization that just needs some youth to come out and entertain, more than willing, more than happy, just please give the office a call, and Harmony will be there for you.
Yeah, okay, fantastic. Do you have what's the number there for the office?
519-336, 344. Yeah, right. I'll have to think about that.
I get you on that every time.
I know, and I get caught on it. It's just, I should write that one down. I know the lady who you could call, though, to book something is Benita Ovens Taylor. Her number I can give you right now, which is 519 312 7700. Benita, I'd love to hear from you. Or the website is officeadmin@harmonyforyouth.org.
Okay, fantastic.
So that should be nice and easy. And Benita will probably answer because she carries that cell phone. It's much better than having an office that somebody may not be there.
Yeah, she's super helpful. Okay, let's talk a little bit more about what exactly, I talk about the choir and stuff, but if somebody wants to be a part of Harmony for Youth, as a youth being a part of the organization, there's some requirements though, right?
There are a few requirements. It's a no-bully space, so we talk good there. You don't come in and start dragging people down. That's not what we're looking for. We would like to involve as many teens, but you don't have to be a teen. Preteens are more than welcome to come out. Right. But there's no monetary costs. We're much more cruel than to ask money from you. What we ask is your time, and we ask for volunteers. Yeah. This is what we're trying to teach, it's volunteerism. So there's no monetary charge, but for every hour that we give you, we anticipate you're going to give an hour of volunteerism back to the community. Yeah. Some people find that very expensive, but I think it's a wonderful thing. Now that I'm retired, it is making my life so much better because we have youth that have grown up through Harmony who now volunteer. It's wonderful.
Yeah, well, and I think it's important because probably, although I think maybe a few years ago I could have said, boy, our youth today, they're really not participating in the community and stuff. But I'd be wrong saying that now. I probably, just from what I do, I see more and more of it all the time. Young folks getting involved, young folks creating their own organizations because they go, well, there's a bit of a gap over here, or I want to help out over here. So I think the types of things, like, for example, that Harmony for Youth as an organization and other organizations, I even see Rotary has started young groups and stuff. So it's nice to see that coming back, because would you agree that we kind of lost that for a little bit?
For a while, it was very tough to get youth involved, but I do see today's youth really want to go out. They really want to make a difference in their world, and it's fantastic. We're supposed to leave this world better for our children, and I think our children are going to do that for our grandchildren. Yeah. And I know you were talking about Glee coming up here this week. Well, my 5-year-old granddaughter's in that, and I think it's wonderful. Anything that a child can get involved in and put themselves out, it does so much for their own self-esteem, their own self-worth, their sense of well-being, and all of these things are fantastic.
Yeah. What have you gotten? I mean, again, being there a long time, you've probably grown through it yourself. What are you taking away from all this?
I have met so many just incredible youth over the years, and every color, every creed, every personality. They've been incredible. They've made me think, darn it, because I have to try and keep one step ahead of these youth. But the one thing I do find is if you want respect from a child today, and 20 years ago, if I wanted to gain respect from a child, I needed to give them respect. And this is the one thing that the youth need. They need somebody they can talk to, that they can confide in, that will take an interest in them and what their needs are. And they need to understand that you're not necessarily looking for something for yourself. You're looking to make their life better. And then I've never run into a bad child. I truly haven't. I've run into troubled children. I've run into problems at home, problems at school.
Yeah.
The whole gambit of what can go on in society. But I've never run into what I would label a bad child. I've run into children who need somebody to talk to and somebody to listen. And it's so important. And to do that for a child lifts you up at the same time. It's just a fantastic feeling.
Yeah, it's got to be challenging, though. I mean, at times, I mean, that's a fantastic philosophy to have. I try to have it. You know, I say seek out the greatness in everyone, including the ones you don't like, because it is there. But that's the difficult part, isn't it?
It is. It is. I have definitely met some youth who make me go, I'm just not quite sure. And some of them I still talk to, and some of them I still try to bring more around to my way of thought than necessarily what theirs are. But their thoughts are very valid as well, and we have to listen to them. And all we can do is hope we can coax them in the proper direction for their life. It may not be for your life, but what will work for their benefits.
Yeah. Fantastic. Sorry, I'm just my previous guest was trying to reach me, so I am listening. But
okay.
Do you think that? But I mean, you're still looking for volunteers, so obviously you're still having the same struggles that a lot of organizations go through, and that is trying to get people to show up.
Move on. And if they grow and they move on, that's wonderful for them. But there's still those youth that need our help, and that's what Harmony's looking for at the moment. We've had board members on there. Not as long maybe as I've been there, but we've had board members who's been there for 5-6 years, and they're to the point where they'd kind of like to maybe back off and volunteer in other ways now, rather than sitting on the board. So we are looking for 2 or 3 new board members with new ideas. We need them because the tired old people like me can't keep coming up with the new ideas and the new ways of doing things all the time. We're also looking for teachers. Now, a board member, you're looking at maybe 3 to 6 hours a month.
Okay.
It's not a lot of time to make a big difference in the number of youth's life. We're looking for teachers who might come out. I'd love to have a choir director come out for a senior choir. Love to have a past music teacher or somebody who has that thrill in their life from music, whether they've done choirs in church or wherever it might be. We'd be more than happy to have them. Vocal teachers, guitar teachers. We have a wonderful guitar teacher, but we have too many kids. You can only take so many youth at a time.
Oh, yeah, okay.
We've got a fabulous drum teacher right now, but I'd love to have somebody else to come in to help teach percussion as well. Or I'd love to get an orchestral band back together, or even a rock school would be great. One or the other or both would be fabulous. A school of rock or country and western. There's some of it I like, but it's not my tunes.
Right.
But I'd love to see that happen, and to give those youth the chance to go out and perform. That's what we'd love to do, to help build their self-confidence. I've seen so many examples where music and just camaraderie bring out a child who's in a shell. I know one of the stories I've told for a number of years was of a child who came into Harmony. who was a select mute. It wasn't a case that she couldn't speak. The only one who'd ever heard her speak was her mother. Her grandparents hadn't heard her voice. Her teachers had not. And her mother brought the child into Harmony, put her in choir, and the little one stood there almost frozen. And we convinced her to what we call bubblegum the words. Just basically say, and it looks like your lips are moving. And she did that for a while. And it took almost 2 years, but after 2 years, that child sang a duet. Wow. And talked in front of the grandparents. The way it warms your heart, the amount of good you can do for youth is absolutely amazing. And the changes it brings into lives. I have a number of stories, but I don't think you want me to carry on for 45 minutes.
No, it's fantastic. The stories are what really, I guess, sells what Harmony for Youth does and what you're doing. It's an important part of our community.
It truly is. I knew another young lady. Now she's a young lady, but when I knew her, she was about grade 7 or grade 8, and she came into Harmony, and about 6 weeks later, we got a call from the principal. What have you done to this child? And it's, why? What's problems are she in? No, it's not that. She hasn't beat up on her teacher in like 4 weeks. Pardon? Everybody in the school was terrified of this young child.
Wow.
And the first time I met, she was in a olive drab muscle shirt and a pair of khaki pants with Doc Marten boots on, standing at ease, military at ease. And all the other youth were kind of looking at her, and you could tell they were scared. And a few years later, she became a candy striper in the hospital here in Sarnia. And a couple of years after that, she was helping other youth, and she was teaching them different things. And she's gone on to be just the most marvelous young lady that you could meet. And I know she's been in the crowd a few times when I've told this story, and after she comes up with this shy little grin and she says, "You're talking about me." And I said, I never tell you names though. But to see these kind of things, that's why I say I've never met a bad child. I've seen a child who needs some discipline. Discipline is not a bad word in our society. Nope. It truly isn't.
Gotta happen.
But she needs respect. They all need respect, and they need to learn how to give respect. And if you show it to them, they'll come around. They also need to know who the top dog is, and it's not them. So
yeah, okay, fair enough.
But you can get through to these youth. And if somebody comes out and works with us, if they volunteer with us, if they become a teacher, the difference it will make in their life, the way their life will blossom is incredible. Otherwise, I wouldn't have been here for over 20 years.
Yeah, fantastic.
So,
well, Paul, I know I'm grateful for what you've done with Harmony because I've seen the effects of that and what you and the others that have been a part of Harmony over the years. So, thank you for that. One more time, if anybody gets to hold, it's 312-7700, right? And
that's right. And you'll contact Benita at that number, which is I'm all over the place, so sometimes I'm kind of hard to call. So I'm throwing Benita under the bus, and she said I could do that.
There you go.
Dave, thank you so much for your time.
Oh, thank you so much for being here, and we'll look forward to seeing more of what can happen being a part of Harmony for Youth. Take care, Paul.
Thank you. You too.
All right, Paul Kearney from Harmony for Youth here in Sarnia, Lambton. And again, we'll be putting all these links, post of the show on our Facebook page if you want to reach out, volunteer. A great organization to be a part of. I know Paul has hundreds and hundreds more of positive stories that have come out of Harmony for Youth. They're also website harmonyforyouth.org online as well, so check that out. Thanks again, Paul. All right, I've got my next guest coming up here. Just before we do, going to take just a really brief break here so I can make sure my other guest is ready. Stay with us. We will be back in just a moment. Middle of the live show. All righty, we are back once again. Sorry for the short break there. This technological world, I mean, tune in every week. It happens all the time. It's fine. But my next guest is ready, waiting patiently, and I appreciate her. Thumbs up if you're ready there, Whitney. Yeah, she's got 2 thumbs up. That's awesome. There she is, Whitney Simpson. Thank you so much for joining me again.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, you're welcome. It was about last year this time we were talking. We did a whole show on mental health and suicide prevention, and the Stephanie Shaw Memorial Ball Hockey Tournament.
Yeah, that was the first year last year.
Yeah. So obviously it was a big success last year. So things are coming together again for it.
Yeah. So last year we were able to raise $3,000, which was really
that's
awesome.
Fantastic. For those who may not know, let's tell the story of Stephanie Shaw and who she was to you and who she was to so many, and why you're doing this.
So I played baseball with Stephanie's older sister, Jessica, and I became very close with the family. And she was a person that just wanted to bring awareness to mental health and really change the perspective surrounding it. And so we lost Steph. It'll be 2 years ago this August. Mm-hmm. And so I wanted to keep her memory alive and just use her name and continue to bring awareness to mental health. And so that is how we began the Stephanie Shaw Memorial Ball Hockey Tournament.
Turning something good that came from a tragedy, right? I mean, that's, when we talked last year, you and I, and we had some other guests join us as well. And I have to say, since then, through my shows and all the things that I've done, this mental health conversation, it just comes up all the time, even without, I don't have to do a show on mental health for it to come up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And how old are you, Whitney?
I am now 20 years old.
20 years old. Okay. So, I mean, but through high school and to where you are now in your life, you've seen a lot of this, mental health issues and suicide issues. Is that because of social media, do you think, that we see it, or?
I think that just ever since, even since I was in grade 9 until now, people are actually not afraid to talk about it now. And I think that that's why we hear a lot more about it, is because people actually are okay with having those conversations and coming forward and getting the help that they need.
Right. Okay. I'm just going to wave. We finally got our other guest in there. We worked through it. That's good. Stay with us there, Nadia. So, I mean, I remember, is it beginning, struggling saying this because I want to say it right, is it getting easier to talk about mental health?
I personally think that it is. I just feel like the stigma is starting to be broken down, but I still think that there's a long way to go.
Yeah. Where do we need to get to?
I think that we need to get to a place where mental health is treated the same way as physical health, if not more important.
So how do you mean, like, if I break my leg, I go to the doctor and then sign my cast. It's cool to break your leg, right?
Yeah. I think that it just needs to be something that people are comfortable talking about. And I went to the doctor I broke my arm. Well, I went to the doctor for mental health, and I think that it should just be the same.
Yeah. So we're improving. We're getting there, right?
I hope so.
Yeah. Well, I think so. I mean, just compared to, I'm not a professional doctor or anything, but just from what I've seen and different things I've been involved with, we see big celebrities like Michael Landsberg and just let's look at Robin Williams, all that sort of. Do you ever overhear? I always wonder, because I hear them sometimes, and I don't always speak up, but I do more and more. Are you ever in a room and you overhear conversation that you don't quite like? Whether they're using the word that crazy or that spaz or whatever those labels are that we use. Do you ever overhear those conversations, and do you correct them if you hear them?
Yeah, I overhear them. I would say I don't even overhear them as much as I used to, but if I overhear them, usually if I'm comfortable in the situation, I will try and correct the person. Yeah.
It's kind of like gossip, right? Nothing
Exactly.
really comes good out of that. So how many teams, so this is happening in July?
Yes, July 14th.
All right. And how many teams are you looking to take in for this?
We're hoping to hit at least 12 this year.
Okay. So how many did you have last year?
So we had 8 last year.
We had 8. Sarnia Lambton, you can do better, right?
That's the hope.
Yeah. Okay. So I know that too. You're getting a little more support this year too. I know that the 3-on-3 ball hockey tournament that is happening June the 2nd, they're supporting the Stephanie Shaw Memorial. Is that right?
Yeah, so we are going to be involved with their tournament. We are supplying all of the referees for that day, so that's next Saturday, and then they're in turn going to support us as well.
That's fantastic. So you get some teams out of that, and will you be recruiting that day down there at that Canadair Park on June the 2nd? You'll be like tugging on people saying, hey, you need to join ours too?
I hope so.
Yeah, fantastic. What now when so you're putting on the ball hockey tournament, and it's how much to do this? I'm just looking.
So it's $120 a team, and you can have 8 players and a goalie on your team.
Okay, so it can be co-ed and all that sort of stuff, or?
Yeah, so we want there to be at least 2 girls on each team, just so that there's always a girl on the court at all times. So it's co-ed.
Okay. Now, money raised from this, like obviously mental health, suicide prevention, can you tell us what specifically you're going to do with that?
Yeah, so this year we are supporting St. Clair Child and Youth and Sarnia Speaks.
Ah, yes, Sarnia Speaks. Fantastic. I think I do have something about that here. This is Paul O'Byrne. How am I saying his last name?
O'Byrne.
O'Byrne. It is O'Byrne. Okay, I want to make sure I got that right. And who's he?
So this year we decided to do something a little bit different. And so Sarnia Speaks is actually going to have a Sarnia Speak event at the tournament during the lunch break. And so Paulie O'Byrne is the founder of I'm 1 in 5. And so he will be live on location.
That's fantastic that you're going to be able to do that. And Sarnia Speaks. So you've been to Sarnia Speaks events before, have you?
I actually haven't, because I'm living in Sudbury right now.
Oh, you're in Sudbury. Okay, well, that's a good excuse. If you lived in Sarnia, we might say, come on. But how did you get connected to Sarnia Speaks with Danielle Cooper?
So I let Stephanie Shaw's mom, Kim, have a very large say in which organizations we support. And I let her pick which organizations she thinks are best suited for this cause. And so she picked Sarnia Speaks, and I agreed with her that this is something that really helps to break down that stigma and really have those conversations that are so important.
Okay, fantastic. So you're still in touch with Stephanie's mom then?
For sure, she is one of the lead organizers on the tournament this year, which is awesome.
Okay. So do you play ball hockey then?
Of course I do.
Of course you do. Listen to her. She's like, duh, what are you talking about? That's good. And are you doing other things? What kind of other things besides, interviews and stuff like this are you doing to recruit people? Or I guess, how do they reach out to you if they want to be a part of it?
So we are pushing really hard on our social media. So our main channel is our Facebook page. So the Stephanie Shaw Memorial Ball Hockey Tournament, you can find us on Facebook. And we also have Twitter. We have Instagram. We've put posters up in all of the local arenas. We've put them up in the high schools. We're really trying to hit every avenue. And if you want to register, you can go to our Facebook page.
Fantastic. We'll make sure that we have those links shared on our Facebook page as well. So, Whitney, just before we go and wrap up and I move on to my next session, thanks for coming on a little bit early. I appreciate that as well. Is there anything else you want to add in or say to anybody before we move on?
Even if you don't want to put a team in, come out. We have tons of really amazing raffle prizes this year. We actually have an autographed Melkin Pittsburgh Penguin jersey. So that will be up for raffle. And we have tons of other really super amazing prizes that have been donated by local businesses. So even if you don't want to play ball hockey, come out to the beach, enjoy the day. Come check it out.
At Cannon Park, right?
Yep, right along the beach in the parking lot.
Yeah, fantastic. Whitney, thank you so much for giving me your time here today, and all the best with this. I think it's fantastic what you and your friends and family are doing to do this for the Stephanie Shaw Memorial Ball Hockey Tournament. Thanks again.
Awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome. Bye now. All right, there you have it, the Stephanie Shaw Memorial Ball Hockey Tournament. And Whitney, enjoyed talking to her. I had a great conversation with her last year as well. So you want to get out and support mental health, suicide prevention. I mean, why not, right? It just seems to be a conversation that happens daily in our lives. And as Whitney said, even if you don't play ball hockey, that'd be me. I don't play. But I will do my best to be out there and get some raffle prize tickets and stuff like that going on as well. So thanks again to Whitney for joining us. All right, we're just going to jump back here in just a moment. My next guest is ready. Are you a smoker? I say this because I'm an ex-smoker, so I can say whatever I want. If you're still smoking, I mean, I know for me, I hear people say, oh, well, I got a lot of stress in my life, or, well, you don't understand, or whatever. But you're right, I don't understand. I was that excuse maker for a long time as well. But anyway, that's another story. But we have our friends here from Lambton Public Health. World No Tobacco Day is on. And if you're ready there in the lobby, give me a thumbs up. Yeah, here we go. All right, and this is Nadia from Lambton Health. Thanks for joining us.
Hi, can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear.
Oh, perfect. Am I in the camera? Because I see some gray stuff at the side. I don't know if I'm fully in or...
Yeah, you're in the camera. It's just if I put you in a certain display, I can demonstrate. So now you'd be off to the side, but that's okay. Don't sweat it. We'll just keep it in this mode. We're good to go.
Perfect.
And you've got somebody else joining you there too.
I do.
Yeah, I'll come in. Paul Butchey here. I work with Nadia.
Oh, okay. Sorry, Paul who?
Paul Butchey.
Oh, Butchey. Okay, thanks very much for joining us here.
I'll come in now.
We'll, yeah, no problem. He's like the internet. He's that's okay. It's very relaxed here. I'm the only guy with a tie, so don't sweat it. So World Tobacco Day, it's coming up on Thursday?
Yeah, so on May 31st, it's World No Tobacco Day. It happens every year. The World Health Organization puts it on, and this year they're focusing on cardiovascular disease. So usually when you think of tobacco, you think of lung cancer.
Yeah.
But this year they're focusing on tobacco and heart disease, the link between tobacco and heart and other cardiovascular diseases, things like that. So this year we have a few things going on. Every year we invite one school in Lambton to do a butt cleanup, and we go to Canatera Park and we talk to students about World No Tobacco Day and why it's important not to smoke. And we do it in a park because in 2015, the Smoke-Free Ontario Act has now put legislation that you're not allowed to smoke within 20 meters within a playground. So we wrote out what 20 meters looks like for kids, so they can and so we kind of talk about, we want the environment that you play in to be safe and smoke-free. But also we're Lambton Public Health, I'm kind of promoting, World No Tobacco Day on May 31st to try and, if you're interested in quitting, just give it a try for a day and see if you could be tobacco free for one day, to see what that looks like. And if people are interested, there are a lot of different resources out there to help you quit smoking. So I always tell clients, if they're interested in quitting smoking, to talk to their family doctor. Most of the family health teams and the community health centers all have quit smoking programs available. Right.
So you can. And what about it's great that this is all accessible, and I mean, we've got lots of great services that are available, and that the promotions, and talking to our youth about smoking, and that's fantastic. But what does it take for that person? I know what it took for me to finally decide to quit smoking. I always tell this, I've had people say to me, "Oh, good for you. That's great. Did you ever try to quit before?" And my response is always, "Well, yeah, I tried to quit before, and that was the problem. I tried, I didn't decide." Right? There's a big difference in that. What does it take to get people through the door to this?
Recently, I found that, some of my clients, they say, I'm not going to quit smoking until death is knocking at my door or I have a heart attack or something like that. And I've seen clients who they've flatlined and they have come back to life and they said, okay, I think now I need to quit smoking. Like, it's crazy that it takes things like that for people to realize. But, and like you tried quitting smoking and, it takes a while. Like, our motto is don't quit quitting. Like, trying, because every time you quit and you try, you're one step closer to finding something that sticks. And I always tell my clients to make sure that when you want to quit, that you are ready to quit. I don't want people bringing you kicking and screaming. It's a decision you personally need to make.
Yeah, and that's fair, because I hear a lot of my friends who still smoke, they say, well, I'm just not ready. Sometimes I hear them say that, and it sounds like, well, you're just not ready because you're just not willing to put the effort into it, and that's a good excuse for saying, I'm not going to quit smoking. But then I do hear others say, I'm just not quite ready. But a lot of the smokers that I talk to, I hear them say, I really want to quit. I think most smokers want to quit. Except for the ones, I always say, like, why did you smoke? I'll tell you why I smoked. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed smoking a cigarette after my coffee or my beer, or after it was my dessert for me, or whatever that looked like, or the first one in the morning, that sort of stuff. But I think would you agree that it has a lot to do with who you're around as well? Because, like, my wife has never smoked a day in her life. I'm so grateful that she stuck with me until I finally did quit smoking, because I stunk really bad. Do you think the surroundings has a lot to do with a person quitting smoking?
Oh, yeah. And it's your social circle. And a lot of people, they have to realize that they have to not cut people out of their lives, but step away from maybe going to that weekend barbecue or going to the garage with their buddies, and they know exactly who they're going to hang out with because they are smoking. So you have to say, okay, I can't be around you yet until I have enough confidence to be around smokers, again, without triggering something like that. I find it, a lot of the older clients, older adults are able to do that, whereas youth and teenagers, their social circle is their everything, and that's harder for them to step away from that. So,
are we seeing less? I mean, like, I started smoking when I was 12 years old. and then smoked all the way through high school. And well, I smoked since I was 12 up till 3 years ago. But are we seeing less? I guess are the success rates showing up? Are we seeing less youth smoke, or is that still a youth thing?
It's still kind of it's becoming a little bit more difficult with the new devices and other substances that are popping up. So tobacco rates have, over the years, national and provincial data has shown that tobacco has dropped a bit, but it's still in. So yeah.
I would think after all this time, because like I say, when I was 12, so that was just last week. But anyway, I'm 49, so when I was 12, we were just starting to talk about smoking's bad for you, and that was just smoking was bad for you. We didn't even know anything about secondhand smoke or just even the smell that comes off clothing, how that can, I think a lot of people don't. I would think after all that time, we'd be going, boy, this is a really dumb thing that we do, smoking. And that, why do we have to wait till we're flatlined before we say, oh, I know the answer is for me, but how come we're not coming across better? I don't know, with all this effort.
Well, it's
Uh-oh. Nadia, you've frozen on me. So there you are. Are you there? There you go. You froze on me for a second. Sorry. Go ahead.
So the thing with tobacco is we know it's bad, but you can get cigarettes anywhere. It's a legal substance, just like alcohol. It's just, and it's so normalized. So I have clients who have gotten off other substances and have been sober for X number of years, and they will say, this is way harder than I ever thought. And I just say, because it's so normalized. Smoking is it's bad for you, but it just seems that since it's so accessible and things like that, just.
It seems not as socially acceptable, though. I mean, that's part of it, right? I mean, to not be able to smoke in a park. I get it. We're around other people, but we're outside, so some people go, well, what's the big deal? But we seem to be eliminating it more and more and more. But I remember you could smoke on an airplane. Mm-hmm. And we used to, and in the office and at the dinner table and all that stuff, and everywhere you went, you could just smoke. And then it sort of began, well, you can't smoke in an airplane. Oh, yeah, well, I can handle that. Well, now you can only smoke in a certain corner of a restaurant. Yeah, I can handle it. But now, you think we're going to be told eventually that we can't smoke walking down the street? Do you see that coming?
I pretty much, outdoor patios, was it 29
meters?
9 meters away. But you can't smoke on, if you're at a patio at a restaurant, you can't smoke on the patios anymore. Other post-secondary schools now, such as Western, McMaster, they're smoke-free campuses. So that's another thing that we work in public health, is the policy behind it, to help build awareness and to make spaces smoke-free. And then, Paul, we're getting some more legislation starting July 1st of this year about the Smoke-Free Ontario Act, expanding some more.
Okay, what's that about? Paul, can you come in and tell us a bit about that?
A good segue. So the Smoke-Free Ontario Act was recently proclaimed, so the Smoke-Free Ontario Act 2017, and it's going to come into effect on July 1st, 2018. And so the biggest change to the Smoke-Free Ontario Act is going to be the inclusion of electronic cigarettes and vaping devices. And so basically all the prohibitions on tobacco now apply to electronic cigarettes and vaping devices. And this also includes medical cannabis.
Wow, okay. What kind of a reaction do you think you're going to get, or what do you think we're going to see from the public on that? I mean, obviously the smokers, there's always the argument as, well, I have no freedom now. What about my choice and all that sort of? How do you think the public smoker is going to react to that?
Well, I guess tobacco smokers are already the Smoke-Free Ontario Act already applies to tobacco smokers. So now it's basically just applying this to an audience that uses electronic devices.
Right.
And I think there's a perception out there already that those electronic devices are already illegal in the same areas that tobacco is illegal, but the fact is they're not, and so that's why this new legislation is coming into play.
Right.
And I guess a big proponent or a big influence is to prevent youth from using electronic cigarettes and these devices to prevent them from smoking later on.
Right. Let's talk about the vapes, and are they bad for you? Like, I don't trust Google any more than I have to, right? Because it's kind of like the graffiti wall of the world. So how bad are they?
Yeah, there's a lot of evidence out there that that's coming into play about vaping devices and their use, and there isn't any evidence to suggest they're safe, but there also isn't an overwhelming evidence to suggest that they're as harmful.
Yeah. Well, I guess it's a learning process, right? As we, I mean, there was a time we thought cigarette smoking was okay, and we didn't realize secondhand. So we're still, and you folks in your position, you got to be constantly learning about all this as well.
Mm-hmm. So I've had a few people ask me about using a vaping device as a cessation method to quit smoking. Yeah. At Public Health, we don't promote using those, but as a harm reduction approach, if I know somebody who's smoking 2 packs a day of cigarettes and they stop and they cut down and decide just to vape, they've cut down. In one cigarette, there are over 6,000 chemicals versus a vape where we know there are chemicals in it. We don't know exactly what, but they've reduced the harm of taking out all those other chemicals that they've already.
It's kind of like 12 beers as opposed to 1.
Exactly. So,
something like that. Yeah.
But it's just the evidence, we still don't know what's in the e-juice, as people would say, and the research still needs to kind of prove its point, but that we're doing a lot of prevention when it comes to youth and vapes, because that they're saying that's kind of a gateway to other.
Sure. Yeah. So I guess as long as somebody starts and is heading in the right direction, that's at least an improvement. But as far as the laws go, I mean, they're coming regardless. I guess you either follow them or you pay the consequence, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's definitely enforcement that comes into play with the Smoke-Free Ontario Act.
Yeah. What kind of fines are we did you know anything about the fines, or?
Yeah, like fines will vary depending on the situation and the circumstance, whether it's a public place or a workplace, etc. So fines can vary quite a bit from a few dollars to a few $1,000s. Yeah,
right. It's probably more than a carton of cigarettes.
Definitely, yeah. It's meant to be a deterrent.
Yeah. Are you? Can I want to ask a question. I hope you don't mind. Were either of you former smokers, or have you just never smoked?
Well, let's just say I'm not a smoker. Like none of us are smokers now.
Okay. Did I catch you off guard?
I'll proudly admit that I've never been a smoker. So.
No.
Yeah. I think it's okay. I find when I tell people I'm an ex-smoker, they get excited. They're like, "Congratulations, good for you! That's so awesome!" And us ex-smokers, we all have our anniversaries, right? Mine's July 24th, and it was a mutual friend of ours, actually, Becky Wellington Horner.
Oh yes.
Yeah, that I've known her since I was a kid, or she's known me since I was a kid. I'll put it that way. And she encouraged me. It was a smoke-free movie night. That was my official night of quitting, actually. So anyway, thank you both so much for. I've got a couple more minutes. Is there anything else you want to add that we missed before we wrap up?
So one quick thing is that we're doing a social media contest.
Oh, right, yes.
For a chance to win a GoPro. So all you have to do, visit our Facebook page at Lambton Public Health, or our Twitter at Lambton _PH, and there's a contest. So if you just snap a picture of a a non-smoking sign around Lambton or things like that, you can just post it, like our page, and all the details will be on our social media. So that is on May 31st. It'll be starting that entire day.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, thank you both so much. And I'm sorry we had some technical glitch there, but now that you know how to do it, you'll be able to come back anytime. I hope you'll come back and talk to us again.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Wonderful. Enjoy the rest of your day, and happy No Tobacco Day coming up, right?
Yes.
Bye for now. There you go, Nadia and Paul joining us from Lambton Public Health. I was so glad that we could get them on here as they had all this great information about World No Tobacco Day. Wow, I don't know why that was tough getting it out. So if you're smoking still and you want to quit, or you think I'd like to quit but I don't know how, listen, they've got lots of support down here at Lambton Public Health. There's lots of great services to help you quit. And while I do believe deciding is important, start by trying. It's okay to try and fail as long as you keep trying. You will get there. And I can tell you, as an ex-smoker, I feel so much better. I smell nicer. My complexion's better, all that stuff. It's true, though. So do what you can to quit smoking, folks, and make Thursday, May 31st, World No Tobacco Day. Maybe that's a start for you, all right? Okay, just before we go, I want you to know about Blue Water Border Fest. And I'm going to give away some free tickets. Would you like some free tickets to go see Blue Water Border Fest? Why not? Country fans, rock fans, and modern rock fans, Blue Water Border Fest will be here in July 26th, 27th, 28th. And you're going to want to, don't I get that right? That's terrible. Let's make sure. I hate it when I'm not sure. Yeah, 26th, 27th, 28th. I was right. Second guessing myself. That comes with age. Blue Water Border Fest. We will have tickets to give away. Make sure you're following along on our Facebook page. A special way. It's more than just a like and a share. But we will give an opportunity to you to win. We've got a pair of tickets to give away for Country Night, and we will have some more tickets coming up for for Country Night and Rock Night, and the whole weekend we'll have some VIP passes as well. It's going to be a lot of fun. We'll be down there for the whole weekend for that. Happy to be partnering up the Video Show Network with Blue Water Border Fest. Thanks again to all of my guests. Keep an eye out for the links to all of my guests that joined me here today. Thanks to Paul Kearney from Harmony for Youth. They're looking for volunteers. If you got some time, it only needs about 3 to 6 hours a month. Fantastic, as Paul Kearney talked to us about all the great stories coming out of Harmony for Youth. Thanks, Paul, for being here. And then Whitney Simpson, who is part of the Stephanie Shaw Memorial Ball Hockey Tournament. Hockey fans, get out there and play, and supporting mental health and suicide prevention. And then, of course, we had our guests from Lambton Public Health joining us about World No Tobacco Day on May 31st. No tobacco. Just get rid of it and do your best to quit smoking. I know you can do it. And other than that, that's all the time I got for you this week, everybody. Have a great week and an even better weekend. I will see you next time right here on the show live. Bye for now.